Hi everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to Friendship Shaving. My name's Mark and we're not in the den today. I've moved to the bathroom. I've got a towel up here just to avoid any reflection from the shower screen, and hopefully you'll be able to see this video all right. Had a spider's nest hatch out today in the shaving den. Don't know where they all came from, but there was a great many little spiders. I had a massive clean out. Everything is stripped out of there, and I put so much spray around that I'm afraid if I go in there it might just finish me off. So that's why we're in here today. I've got a start razor to show you today, and it would probably help if I held it the right way around. There we go. And I've already taken it out of the box just to save a little time. Here it is, a lovely looking razor. I can't hold it as close to the camera as I would like. If I do that, my hand will get in the way of the camera, but I'll shave with this again and show you it in a little more detail at a different time. I'm going to be using today, he says, hopefully looking around, I'm going to be using a Russian razor blade, a Rapira, and we'll open that up and pop it into this razor. This is a stainless steel razor. It does have some machine marks on the underside of the head cap, and I must admit when I got it there were some marks on the top cap as well. I've used it already, and after I finished using it for the first time I washed it and just rubbed the top cap with a towel, and it seemed to take off those few marks that were on there. This is the polished version. I don't know if you can see that. You see my hand just appearing in the corner of the screen there. But this is a polished version. It does come in a satin version. I'm going to be using today a Sudsy Soapery soap called Top of the Morning. Now this is a soap that contains honey, organic aloe leaf and French and green clay, and maybe you can see the colouring on the soap is very green. It smells of a bright fougere, and I perhaps think that there's some eucalyptus in this, or some menthol, definitely. It is a very bright, fresh scent. I've taken a little scraping of that and popped some into my bowl. And I haven't got a Russian brush today, so we're going to be using a silver tipped, a Friendship Shaving silver tip badger brush. And I believe these are still available from Frank Shaving. We just shake the water out of that and I'll start to pick up some of this soap. Now I've been trying to find out a little bit about this soap, and rather disappointingly I can't. I'd like to know, well, what I like to do when I get a soap that I haven't tried before, I like to put my nose into it and try and work out the scent notes that I'm picking up. And I like to use it and try and do the same thing and smell it in its die down, and just to see what I can work out. And then I like to look at the scent profile of the soap on the manufacturer's website, and just to see if I was close. You know, it's a nice way of learning about smelling soaps and picking up those scent profiles. Unfortunately, on the Sudsy Soapery website, there is no scent profile for this soap at all. It seems the discovery of this was a happy accident. But there's nothing there that tells you what the scent profile is. It is made from essential oils. The scent, that is, not the soap itself. That would be rather miraculous. There we are, we've got enough soap there, and I can start just to put some on my face now. Yeah, as I say, that is rather disappointing for me, because I do like to know, and as somebody who purchases soap, although this was a sample given to me by Mark Chew, as somebody who purchases soap, I think it's very important, rather than the soap just being described as a refreshing Irish morning. I mean, what is that? You know, I think it's very important to be aware or be given the scent profile of the soap. So I'm very disappointed that it's not included with this soap, as the scent profile for their other soaps is included. I have read in one of their reviews that a gentleman describes the soap as having a mainly rosemary scent, which is very earthy, with a fresh soapy smell behind that. So we'll see if that matches up with my experience. I'm going to just add some more water to this. It's very interesting because I'm looking in the big mirror rather than the camera view or the screen of my iPad. There's a slightly different experience today. There we are, and I think that will do. I've got everything balanced. The tripod is right there. And I'm trying not to move around too much. Got my towel right by one of its feet, so I'm being very careful here. Now the razor itself, I must admit, it is a lovely looking razor, but I have found that there is a very specific angle, and if you deviate by a slightest amount, either up or down from that angle, I've lost it. There we are, so I've got it again. So I'm finding this to be mild razor. Now it comes with 3 different bottom plates that you can buy that would give you a blade exposure of 0.69, 0.90, I'll just double check that, yes, 0.90, which is the one I've got. The 0.90 also comes in an open comb version, or there is a 1.18 blade gap with the 3rd plate. So I'm surprised with the middle plate, 0.90, that it is as mild as I'm experiencing. Let me just clarify though, as I said, I have had a shave with this. It is mild, but it is an effective razor, and I think that with a little practice of keeping that angle, it'll be a very nice razor, especially if you like a mild razor. Now sometimes you talk of a mild razor, or you use a mild razor, and it's not as effective as you'd like, but when I used this the other day, even though there were times when I kept coming off that optimum point, I did have a very close shave. It will be interesting to find further information on this to see whether it's definitely not, I've forgotten the word I wanted to use, it'll come to me in a moment. There's definitely not a positive aspect to the blade. So if you like that, if you like a blade that you can really feel, you know, this is perhaps not a razor for you. It is 105 grams in weight, so it's a nice weight. Not too heavy. And it has an 85mm handle, which you'll see in a moment fits nicely in my hand. Now that's just the handle size, not the overall size. I'm going to see if I can pick up a little more soap, because this is looking very thin indeed. Mostly I'm getting a eucalyptus type, eucalyptus type scent from this soap. As I say, that it is a fougere when you first smell it. But I couldn't tell you any more than that. I'm not really getting a rosemary scent at all at the moment. Yeah, the slickness is pretty good. Now there are times here when I just cannot feel the blade at all. I actually think the guard plate that gives you the lowest blade gap would be just, well, it would be pointless for me, let's put it that way, because this is very, very mild indeed. I mean, you can hear I'm taking the hair off, but I'm having to definitely get that angle, and I'm finding that I have to keep it clean. If the soap gathers in here, it just blocks the feel of that blade completely. In fact, even like that, when I can feel that that was cutting, it feels like I'm shaving without a blade in it, which is not a bad thing. But personally, I like to know where that blade is. I like to feel the blade a little bit. Now against the grain. Okay, I'll tell you how mild this is. You know, I've been using the new King Camp Gillette razor, safety razor. It's more aggressive than this plate on this razor. Now I've got a new aftershave to share with you today. New to me, new to the den. Well, that's generally what new means, isn't it? Now there we go, that's my shave with the Star Razor. You can see there we are, that fits very nicely in my hand, but that is a little mild for me. Having said that, I can feel that I've taken a razor blade across my face. No, I'm not BBS. And I'll try and avoid the temptation. I really need to go against the grain, which is something I don't normally do to get BBS here. I've had a passable shave, you know, it's okay. Now be very careful reaching for my towel again. Now I've got some Mirsol from Spain, and I've got the, oh, that's got soap over it. Let me just wipe that off. I do not want to drop a bottle of aftershave onto my mother's sink. There we go, I've got a Mirsol Agua Balsamica. Now I got this because I thought it would go with my Martin de Condra original scented soap, which, as you know, is rosemary and lavender predominantly. This one is rosemary, thyme and lavender, so it will go perfectly with that. And I wonder, as Martin de Condra is made in the south of France and this Mirsol is Spanish, perhaps the rosemary and lavender scent is typical of that sort of area of the world. Quite a few soaps have rosemary in them, quite a few have lavender in them, so I feel it will go with quite a fair few soaps. And I thought I would try it with this Fougere. Let me tell you, my hands, my fingers, my face is still a bit damp still, but my fingers feel amazing from that soap. Anyway, so we've got rosemary, thyme and lavender. They are all antibacterial, they are anti-inflammatory, and they have antiseptic qualities. So it is a good aftershave if you have a skin complaint. I found this to be very nice in feel. It smells wonderful when you pour it straight out of the jar, very fresh, and put that on. There is a touch of alcohol in this, but the burn is very, very, very mild indeed. It is a very fresh scent at first, but already that rosemary is starting to come through, and that gets quite strong for about half an hour. Now that on its own is enough to make me say that this is not unpleasant, but it's a little bit odd. I find it an odd scent. It will go rather marvellously with that Martin de Condra. Well, now that I've got it on, I don't know about it. It may not be a keeper in my den. I have mixed some with some Parasso Green, and that works really well. And that's kind of what I was hoping for with this soap. So once it all settles down and I can smell it on my hands, it might be very pleasant indeed. But definitely a very unique scent. I find it a bit odd. But the aftershave itself is really, really nice quality. Once this all dies down, and already my skin is starting to feel really nice. So it'll be very interesting to try some of the other Mearsol aftershaves. And I saw John Chalmers from John Shaves 101 got a new jar of the Mearsol Blue just the other day. So they do a wide range. Now that rosemary is definitely coming through, and if you go and put your nose in your dried herbs, your rosemary, that's exactly what it smells like. I have some pizza topping in the cupboard that you sprinkle on a pizza, and it's got rosemary and thyme in it, and it smells like this. So it's a bit strange, but there we are. That is my shave for today. I hope you're keeping well, and I'll see you next time around. Subscribe if you haven't. Take good care. See ya.